So I don't really need to make a second video, but hey, let's try it, shall we? Let's see if I can make some other new takes up for you. Again, thank God for everybody who has supported the Jalen Hurts video. I'm tremendously blessed that that video has gotten the views that it's gotten the support that it's gotten. Thank you very much. Like I said before, and especially if you follow me on Twitter, you know I'm literally ranting about the Jaguars and NFL every flipping day practically and or just whenever I'm on Twitter. I'm ranting about them because my Jaguars are one of the sorriest NFL franchises I've ever seen in my entire life when it comes to how to manage their talent. There's a reason why since whatever year, 2-3 years ago, for the last 2-3 years, the Jaguars have literally had the most, I think, either conduct violations or player complaints. I think one of those two, probably player complaints. They've had the most player complaints, and I think have been fined, somewhere with, I'm just going to say player complaints. They've had the most player complaints since Tom Coughlin arrived back there as our VP, etc. If I'm not mistaken, it may have predated him a year, but I think the last time I checked, it was since Tom Coughlin had arrived, we had the most player complaints out of everybody in the entire league. The most grievances filed against us and more, if I'm not mistaken. So Tom Coughlin, once again, God bless your soul and what you did for us. The good things, you brought us our sacks of a defense. We went all the way to the AFC Championship, but I'm sorry, it's very evident that at the end of the day, you caused more harm than good because, once again, for some stupid reason, you signed Blake Bortles to a 3-year extension he didn't deserve. He just rode the bus getting there and did just enough to get him there on his side, because if you look at the sacks of the defense, they was not only picking Big Ben off left and right with 5 picks in that game back in 2017, but also Blake Bortles did do just enough, because it's like, yeah, 1 touchdown here, 2 touchdowns here. He just did just enough. You know what I mean? And I never forget that season, literally looking up and down, researching it, and during the 2017 season, and everybody was like, Blake Bortles did just enough. Like he's been doing all season. He rode the bus to get them. The sacks of a defense was the engine that got us there to the AFC Championship game. Blake Bortles did just enough. So Blake Bortles is absolutely proof that you can make it to the AFC Championship game if you have a ball-hawking, quarterback sacking defense to lead you there. Because other than that, Blake Bortles could never have led us there on his own. He never could have. I love you, Blake Bortles. I literally shouted you out in a song that I wrote a couple days ago. But you're not going to do that. You're not going to do that. Some guys ooze that these intangible factors, but they can do it. Blake Bortles is not one of those guys that ooze it. I promise you guys, the college football is literally filled with guys of every division that ooze that enigma that, yeah, I'm a go-getter, I'm gritty, I'm I'm a game changer, etc. Guys that can get you to the championship, let alone guys that can win you the Super Bowl, if not a couple. It just oozes of guys that can do that. All divisions of football in college can do that. They all can do that. You just got to know who you're drafting and know how to coach them, build systems around them, and then you got to get them a Saxonville defense. And trust me, things gonna happen for you. But as I was saying, absolutely. God bless everybody who supported the Jalen Hurts video. I am disturbed. Absolutely disturbed that the Eagles used Jalen Hurts as a decoy toy yesterday. The top reason why I'm disturbed they used him as a decoy toy yesterday, that's Jalen freaking Hurts. How are you going to use that All-American quarterback, the All-American Tebow-esque quarterback, better passer than Tebow ever was, at least, back when he was in Denver, etc. Look at his highlights when he was with the preseason with the Eagles. He could throw, etc. But think about it. That's what I want everybody to totally understand about the game. Because that's what I mean when I said, because someone explained to me how Kyle Sloter and Alex Magoo are not on rosters. You don't know them, look them up. Kyle Sloter, preseason phenom, 11 touchdowns, 1 interception. Alex Magoo, look him up last year when he was with the Jaguars. He was nice. I don't know why they cut him, and I don't know why we kept Mike Glenn in this year. I don't know. We wasted Josh Dobbs' time. Like I said, I can go off on a million rants, but who am I kidding? That's what this video's for. But again, let me get back to my Jaguars before I go off on everything else. My Jaguars, once again, played a mediocre, piss-poor game yesterday. Literally, a mediocre, piss-poor game. Love my Jaguars, but I also can't stand them at the same time. That's why I've tweeted out before. I pray to God that the XFL gets an Orlando-based franchise so I can have another hometown team to root for. I'm from Jacksonville, Florida, but Orlando's also like my second Floridian hometown because how many times I've been there for Disney World and so on. So it's like another second home for me, another second Floridian home more specifically. Really all around Florida's home, but Orlando's right there. So I look forward to the day that they get a team so I can waver my support towards my Jaguars because I love my Jaguars. But like they say, if you love something, you gotta let it go, especially when what you love is disappointing you and showing you that they're not worth your time. And my Jaguars keep showing me every single year. Right when you think they're getting good, they just fall off a cliff again, etc. And I want people to totally understand, Gardner Minshew is franchise, but they're literally going to waste his talent this year. If the Jaguars cannot fix their defense and cannot fix their offensive line, etc. I mean, it could have just been one bad game, like I said in the last video and I've been saying on Twitter all last night. It could just be one bad game. But I promise you, there's a reason why I tweeted out. All the Jaguars needed to do was at least make it to the wild card. That's all I needed for my Jaguars to do was make it to the wild card. That's all I needed. They didn't have to win it, but at least make it there. That would have made all the difference for me, if my Jaguars had at least made it to the wild card. That would have made all the God first difference. All the God first difference if my Jaguars at least made it to the wild card. But they literally set themselves up to tank. They're like, we're not tanking. Yeah, I've heard that from a few other franchises that tanked, whether it was meant to or accidentally. I've seen it. I've heard it all before. God bless my Jaguars, but you've definitely proven, us to be you've proven yourself to be exactly who we thought you were. Gardner Minshew is franchise, and I'll keep alliterating that over and over again. Gardner Minshew is franchise. But at the same time, he needs an offensive line. He needs a defense. If he gets that, Gardner Minshew can do the rest. He did it last season and God first more. I promise you. Gardner Minshew is our guy. He's my guy. And I want the guy to literally God first succeed on God first everything. But he cannot succeed if he's not given an offensive line, let alone a defense that can actually stop a fly. Because our defense is Swiss cheese. That's literally what our defense is. Look at this Thursday night game that was just yesterday. The defense is Swiss cheese. They cannot stop a fly. And the evidence could not be more there, etc. And if I had to, I kind of already said everything in the first video, but I'll say it again for you. Gardner Minshew, he got thrown down. James Robinson got trucked, blew up. And like I said, the defense is Swiss cheese. They cannot stop a fly. And I really want everybody to understand this. The Jaguars should have, could have got a few extra, you cannot tell me, for example, Damon Harrison, a.k.a. Snacks Harrison. Why is he still a free agent? And maybe a few other guys that I can't name, which I wish I could, but I don't know who's in the free agency market other than guys like Snacks Harrison. That's what I mean when I tell you the Jaguars, like a lot of the teams, have no clue what they're doing. Trust me, I love young teams. I'm 22 years old. Love young people. Love you. But with that being said, Jaguars are not at that time where you can build an entire freaking defense off of young guys and expect them to be coordinated enough. You can't do it. You can't do it. The Jaguars, I don't know who the front office thinks they are, let alone the team they put together this year. I knew it. As soon as Jaguars are one of the youngest teams, I don't care. That doesn't mean crap. If you have a Swiss cheese defense that anybody can run through. Anybody. Probably a Swiss cheese defense that's so bad a snail can run through it. Okay? That's how crappy our defense is. Literally. I mean, you should see and again, I said in the last video, we're terrible at man coverage. We can't do it. Stop doing it. Etc. Stop it. And I want people to totally understand, I love my Jaguars, but I've been there with my Jaguars. For better and for worse, I've been watching them for several years, and they give me almost no reason to root for them for several years. The one good year we had, after that, everything went down the toilet again. I love Gardner Minshew, but we got that guy a needle in a haystack. And what that means is we did not know that Gardner Minshew was going to be that good, because if you did, you definitely wouldn't have signed Nick Foles to a 4-year deal. The Jaguars, I mean, this is the reason why I tweeted when we did that, or before we was doing that, sign Nick Foles, but trade for Josh Rosen. Because I thought we were going to sign Nick for like 2 years, a good 2-3 year deal, and put Josh Rosen as his young developmental backup, etc. Now Josh Rosen's over there with the Bucks, about to win a Super Bowl with Tampa Bay and Tom Brady. And now Nick Foles is over there in Chicago waiting for Trubisky to fall flat on his face so he can get in and he can win another Super Bowl there. Oh, by the way, Trubisky's going to fail. It's just a matter of time. Oh, and yeah, I hate to say that, but Trubisky's going to fail. It's just a matter of time. Ladies and gentlemen, there's a reason why I tweeted out last year that Trubisky's career has literally gone the same way Blake Bortles did, just minus 2 years. His career literally went the same way Blake Bortles did, just minus 2 years. He had one good year, and then after that, everything has gone downhill. The times that Mitchell Trubisky has looked good has either been like that fourth quarter versus the Lions, but the Lions don't play defense, so I don't understand why anybody should be shocked by that, and let alone pretty much when he hasn't played a defense. And any quarterback can look good when they're not playing a defense. A defense that actually is good at man coverage and is crazy with zone coverage, etc. When you don't play defenses that know how to disguise looks and get to the quarterback and how to pick you off, even when you thought a guy was open, just zoop in there like, not today. If you don't play defense that know how to do that stuff, then you're always going to look better than what you actually are, etc. And I'm telling you, God bless Mitchell Trubisky, but he's not the guy in Chicago. And I don't know what's going to have to take for people to understand that. He's not the guy in Chicago. He's not going to win you a Super Bowl. He's not going to carry you deep in the playoffs. That's just not going to happen. He's not the guy. God bless him, but he should have been drafted to the Cleveland Browns to begin with. That's probably where he's going to end up being next year to compete with Baker Mayfield. God bless. One was a shame. And hopefully Justin Fields gets drafted to Chicago, because you're not going to win a Super Bowl unless you have a guy that's oozing that enigma factor that you just cannot put a cap on their talent and their potential. That's just how it is. And so on. I have no idea where Trevor Lawrence should go. I have no clue. My best bet is just looking at where Justin Fields is going to go. I have no clue where Trevor Lawrence is going to go. And by the way, nobody in their right minds would give up on Sam Darnold after 3 seasons. He got mono last season, and this season it's still Adam Gase's fault. And what that means is this year, Adam Gase is still not a good coach. I don't understand why people think that Adam Gase is a quarterback whisperer. No, he's not. Okay? Or at least not, with the quarterbacks he's been given. Okay, he's not a quarterback whisperer, if you would have personally asked me. For a example, sorry for my stuttering. For example, Adam Gase. Y'all remember back when Tannehill got injured for the second, if not third time, and they was deciding whether, I think that was back in 2017 season, and they were deciding whether to get Jay Cutler, Tim Tebow, or some other third dude up in there to compete to be the starting quarterback that year. I want people to understand this. Same thing with John Fox, because I'll never forget John Fox. How is it that everybody that coached Tebow during that Broncos run has had opportunities to get Tebow back in the NFL to starting quarterback and have not done so? I promise to God, if John Fox was smart enough to have done that in Chicago, he would still be in Chicago. If Adam Gase was smart enough to do that in Miami, again, Tebow's a Florida kid. Come on. Adam Gase would still be in Miami. Ladies and gentlemen, the evidence couldn't be there. And I'm telling you, if you look at the Eagles preseason, 2015 preseason with Tim Tebow had reworked his throwing motion. Tim Tebow was the man. He was the guy. He had done his job, etc. The evidence couldn't be more there. Look at his highlights. Woo! He could have won some games, let alone probably when he went deep into the playoffs. Not saying would have won a Super Bowl, but he never would have went deep into the playoffs, etc. Ladies and gentlemen, the evidence cannot be more there. They pass up on talent each and every draft because they don't want anybody to challenge their guy. Because I'm not saying the Jaguars should have ever picked up Cam Newton. No, he was meant to be picked up by Patriots. Etc. But I'm definitely telling you, if you look at the power structures in the NFL, let alone just look at the guys that they're cutting versus the guys they're keeping, it's very evident, as I've tweeted out to Kyle Sloter countless times. The NFL does not want competition at the quarterback position, and that's why guys like Kyle Sloter are still free agents. The tape, I would say, depending on who it is, does not lie to you, and you just have to pick them up and let them do their magic. God bless you, boy, man. NJ2TheCity out. Peace.